I feel like what's coming through with this healing today is letting go of fear, like letting go of not being able to step into your greatness. So what happens is when we get to a place where we're really doing when we're really on our path, and when we're really about to bump up against like what it is that is our true desire and is our greatness, like when we're about to step into our greatness, we always bump up against the fear. This always happens. Okay, it's just a thing that always happens. We bump up against the fear, and that's why sometimes you'll see people who are like, wow, they're going and they're doing and they're creating and they're doing all these amazing things, and then they stop, right? They get too scared, or they sabotage themselves. And I'm sure we've all experienced this, or we see other people doing it. And that's what happens when it's something that's really your truth, when it's something that's your destiny. We bump up against the fear. And it's, can you walk through the fear? Because on the other side of fear is the love. And if you can't, when you bump up against the fear, if you back down and you get scared and you go into those old tapes and those old things, those old belief systems, that's when you go backwards, or we get trapped and we get, we can't move forward. So today, the light language that's coming through is about breaking through the fear and getting into the space of being on our path where we can walk into our destiny and what we truly desire. So, just that small thing. It's a pretty big thing, right?
Yeah.
But I have felt that, and you always teach from, at least for me, like I'm an experiential learner, so I always teach what I'm going through. And that was what was coming up for me, like in the last couple of, I just started these Tuesday night healings a few weeks ago, and it was incredible. Like the emails and the texts I got, an hour after, the next day, and it was like kind of blowing me away. Like it was almost like I had so much like I could cry right now, and I'm overly sensitive anyway, but it was like so much gratitude to be able to do this with people. And I felt like I was bumping up against the fear, because it's also, this is easy for me, like, oh, it should be harder, right? We make things harder. But when we're on our path, when we're going towards our destiny, it's like, it should be easy. It should be joyful. It should be, graceful. And we, remembering the lie that we tell ourselves, make it harder. We make it too real. So this light language that's coming in is to let that go. And that's what this has been about in the last, month or so. I've been talking about a lot too, just like surrendering, letting go, just letting, all the processing work I do. And I work with clients individually during the month about, with their negative ego and inner child and and yeah, we got to process some of that stuff. But it's also, can you let go and step forward? And because a lot of times we've processed it, we've gnawed on it, we've thought about it, we've dealt with it, we've done the work, but we're still carrying it around behind us. And sometimes it's just like, okay, are we ready to let it go? Because we're ready to be done with it. And consciousness has evolved so much right now that it is more about, like years ago, 30 years ago, when I started to do this work, it was like, yeah, we had to process these little pieces out, process all of these inner things that are going on. Now consciousness has evolved so that we still maybe have to go back and look at some of that stuff, but we can also make the conscious choice to just step forward and to let that go and step forward into a new energy, into a new consciousness. So, are you guys ready? Say yes if you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good. Cool.
Yes.
All right, guys. All right, so let's do it. Let me mute you guys, and then I'll unmute you after. Okay. Cool. Ooh. All right, so everyone shake out what you don't need. You don't have to name it or know what it is. Just, open up your hands. We store a lot of energy in our hands. Your toes, your ankles, your legs, your shoulders, whatever you don't need, just let it go and just say yes to the goddess, right? I always say this, the goddess always says yes. So ask for what you want and just allow it in. Whew, and take a couple of deep breaths. Ikrio sirekio lo moriaka. Sirikiro lo mori shvirikio. Lo horirekia sia kodon mo. Larierekia sikio moro shviriekia. La harirekia shwori rekirira mo. Lerekirira shwori rekirima. Koro shvia. Hiola hariekia svirikia lo moro shvia. Koro shvirikia loro shkarira ma. Kia swori shwa. Koro shvirikirima. Kia lor sia. Kiriolo horoshimiare kiolama. Kiriasiare kiolo horoshmia. Koroshmiare kioloma. Kialala mariere korosh. Verborire krimaere kiria. Sikiriolo shwia. Marikiala. Sikiriolo morishwo. Kirialo horoshwia. Kiriare romo. Lady Kiriro shwirire grimora or shwirire kira. Irikiare shiro kolo horia. Kia siare kiolo hore shvire kiriro more kiria. Kia siare kiolo hore shiare kiriro mo la kiria. Ki shiare kola kiriro mo. Kia shia siro uri kiriro mo. Lere kiriro shvire kiriro mo la kiria. Shire kiro loro shvire kiolo hore yare kia. Sikire yere kiro olohore shia kiro mo kriala rir shikia lohore shibire kiriro male rekia hore shibire o shire kia lomo kia sio kolo shire kio la harire kia oro shibire no mola kio no ma kiro shibire ore rale yero yere kire rolo shire kirire mo yere kara olo kiro lo shire kirire ma yere kiro shwe Shworir Kiro la Maria, Kishiaro Koi, Maria Kio Lohorishia, Kuru Shworir Kirima, Kirishwa, Siri Kiaroma, Kiara Shiara Kio, Holo Maria Ki Asira Kia, Kuriera Maria Kiro, Shwarir Kia, La Haria Kia, Sikio Lohorish, Mi Kirio Loma, Kuru Shworir Kirimoa, Haria Kia, Siri Kio Lohorish, Irikiria Mai. Kirira lama sikia, kiolor shirikia, kiara mori arakia, holo shimia, kirioloma, kiriara sia kioloma, kuro shwirikia, yiro horira shmiro go, kiriala ririkuri shmiro koro, shmiro kola maririkia, kishira go lorikia. Maria kia sia, kolo, kia sia miro, la kia sia. Kiolo rishwia, Kiro Maria, Korosh Mira Kirolo, Kiriolo Maria Kria, Sikiria, Korea Shwaya Kio, Korea Korea Kria Maria Kria, Kria Shwari Kria Moria Kria Shwari Kria Maria Shwari Korea Shwari Kria Lairo, Shwari Kro Aya, Sikiero. Kia siare kiolarish, yerekiolos, yerekioloshiarekias, kikirolo makira, kroshvirir kolor shviria, kiokorina me kirire kirio shvirikira, lohori shirikiriarekira, lahariarekias, kiosiro korierash, kiriolo, koshvirikirima, kieshvirikirima, lohore shira, kioromo rishia. Sikiria larire kroa I marire koriro shvrire krema. Koriro shvorire krema. Holo shvrire krema. Kiasia. Kirolo kiriro lere kiriro ma. Kirisire kiriro lama. Kiriara siare kio. Holo shi kiriro no. Kielaria sia. Kiriro lo moriare kias. Kiolo kirisiara kia. Lohoriere kia morie sia. Koria shmirikio lorore shmia. Kirialiera kiriro. Kriya siare kriya lo. Kriya siara kiolo. Kriya sia iro shuriri kriya rama. Kisire kriya lo la yara kriya rama. Kriya lo shire kriya rama. Kriya rama shuriri kriya. Lohore shmire kriya. Lohore yara mo shu. Yere kiro lo yere sia. Kiro lo lo. Sina kire ya lo ria kia. Kiro lo sire kire lo moria rekia. Shwere sire kire lo horia. Sika yoro koro shwere grima. Kiria la. Sire kio lo hore shwia. Koro shwere rekia la maria rekia. Kirio shwa la yere kiria la maria rekia. Kirio shwere la. Kiria lor shmire kiria lor. Kiria shwere. So as always, I would love to hear what you guys think. I will tell you a couple things that were definitely coming in really strong was that it's time to let go of leading with our heads and figuring things out, that it's strictly from, and they were really like adamant about this, about leading from your heart and doing what we're doing like with a light heart. That's what I kept hearing, a light heart, doing it from the heart. It doesn't work anymore from the head. And asking, like they were saying, a lot of you are doing things like, okay, you know, even if you're meditating and you're spiritual and you're doing the spiritual work, but then, okay, here's the business stuff. And it's like, it can't be separated anymore. It's doing everything in your life with a light heart. So even the spiritual stuff, I mean, even the business stuff, ask your guides, like, don't make it so hard. All you have to do is ask for help. Ask for help from your guides, from your angels. They're all there. They're there. Ask for help from the divine, from goddess, God, goddess, all that is, whatever whatever wording you use, and live in that space of, the spiritual, the divine, whatever you're doing in your life, not just when you're doing the spiritual work. That was the huge message that I just heard coming in. So yeah, as always, you don't need to share or talk, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. I love hearing your comments or questions.